The date was April 26, 2024, a Friday. I was in my university dorm room, broke, tired, and running purely on student debt and dreams. I remember waking up to a suspiciously heroic bulge in my pants, curious yet completely unfazed. Naturally, I reached on my phone to check the time to see if the world had finally ended, or at least to see if any of my overdue assignments got magically extended. And then, boom, there it was. Amongst the academic chaos, one notification ruled them all. Your order is out for delivery and will arrive before 5 p.m. In that moment, it all made sense. My blade wasn't just rising, it was stellar. Because Stellar Blade had officially launched and the entire PS5 community was losing their minds in collective dicks. Fast forward a few weeks, I streamed it, I suffered, bitch! Suck a dick! I slayed, I simmed.
Wow. Ooh. Lord.
And while everyone else was crying for a PC port, I was too busy platinuming the life out of this game. 135 hours in and I ignored every other title in my library like a toxic ex. And now the date is June 11th, 2025 and the PC port is finally here. So today, as a proud degenerate veteran of Stellar Blade, I'm going to tell you exactly why this game is worth every cent, click, and potential existential crisis. Right, let's start off this video with one of the most important points, if not the most important point of gaming. Now, one thing that adds to the replayability of a game, or just generally playing a game and making sure that you have a good time, there are three things in my opinion. There is how things look, how things play, and how things sound. And how things sound is mainly pertaining to the music. And when it comes to Stellar Blade, when it comes to the music, man, the music is fantastic. The music is amazing. Now, one thing I want to take an example and do a comparison of is Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is a 60-hour game, right? The storyline is literally that long. It takes an incredible amount of time to finish. But one thing that makes Final Fantasy 16 so compelling to play through the entire story and at the same time replay it, because I also put a large amount of hours in there, is the soundtrack. The soundtrack for all the bosses, the soundtrack in the slice of life in between side missions. The OST is just so good from location to location, and Stellar Blade does exactly the same thing. That's why I love these games, because they've got an amazing soundtrack in the background. Now, I actually have this thing of where I'm playing a really good game and I actually pick up a really good music, and I know that I'm listening to something good, I'm playing the game, I start humming the music. Now, mind you, I'm on a live stream, I don't know how to sing. I honestly can just be honest, I have no vocal. Hey man, I'm no Alicia Keys, I'm no Selena Gomez, I'm no nobody when it comes to singing, bro. But then certain music, man, if 1,000 people are watching my live stream, I would sing confidently. That's how good music is. That's how you know you're listening to really good music, when it makes you want to sing. It makes you believe in the delusion that you can sing yourself. And that's what Stellar Blade did. Now, what connects after that is that, what exactly am I singing? Now, you'd be surprised to know that Stellar Blade, the Stellar Blade OST, for the most, there are some tracks that you'll hear that are English, but then there's other tracks that you'll hear and there are no lyrics for the track. Just like Nier Automata, it is literally a made-up language, or just people I don't know. It's just it's like they gave the girl the mic and they're just like, hey man, sing something beautiful. And it's not an official language. It's literally sounds that just sound good. Sounds that sound good that make you sing and believe that you can sing. If that's not good music, man, then I don't know what is. That is really some damn good music right there, man. And another thing about the Stellar Blade soundtrack is that it's not just something that you play the game and then it just ends there. You just never listen to the track again and you just leave it there. You really want to go to your Spotify or your Apple Music or whatever app that you use, and you want to download the entire OST, because there is a song in Stellar Blade for however you are feeling outside of the game. If you want to read something, if you want to listen to something while reading a book, there's something for that. If you want to listen to something that makes you feel epic, hey man, you will find a lot of good music in Stellar Blade for a really epic moments. Whether you're working out, whether you're trying to get some motivation, there is always a good soundtrack. And I love games like Final Fantasy 16, like Nier Automata, like Stellar Blade, that have really good music. That diversity of listening to anything, it accommodates a wide number of moods. I love that. Now, what do I plan to do with the music? hey man, I want to do gameplays at some point in the future. Subscribe and like for that. But I think one of the main focus points in terms of the music that I use in the background, thankfully a lot of gaming music has no copyright on it. I am going to use the hell out of the Stellar Blade audio because that music is just perfect and it's fantastic. The combination of Final Fantasy 16, Stellar Blade and Nier Automata music is just incredible. All that right there, and diversity of music that you can listen to at any time, it's amazing. I can't wait for you guys on PC to listen to that stuff. It's fantastic. I already see people on Twitter putting out posts saying that, oh no, it must be, like, just based off the demo alone, a lot of people that the Game Awards literally robbed Stellar Blade of winning OST of the year because the music is just that good. But hey, I'll leave that for you guys to decide. Like and subscribe. Let's continue to the second point. Alright, everybody, let's talk about the gameplay. Now, the DualSense controller, if there is one game developing company, Shift Up has my absolute respect with what they've done with the DualSense controller. Now, I think a common problem that like a lot of things that we have, like problems we have in gaming, like let's say for example, you know, Sony launched the PlayStation 5 with all of these features that they can use for the controller and all that, right? And you know, some developers never really use that particular feature or function or whatever it is to its full potential. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, if you're looking for a game that takes advantage of the DualSense controller, you are looking at Stellar Blade, because when you walk on metal, you feel the metal. When you walk on sand, you feel the sand. When you're swimming, you feel the water. Any texture changes when you're walking on anything. Shift Up really went into detail and made sure that you feel whatever it is that you're working on. It's also assisted by the fact that I don't know what the hell Eve is wearing. I don't know what the Hoove heels. But yeah, shout out Efra Senju for that one. But yeah, you just feel everything that you're working on. Even the rain, man, you can just feel the rain, especially for some of you who played the demo. If you went through ADOS 7, the second stage after the angels landed on Earth, yeah, I mean, you'll know what I'm talking about. But even if you're playing this game on keyboard and mouse, it's just what you're seeing, how you're playing, and how it translates into how it looks like on screen. It looks really, really cool. That's what I like about Stellar Blade, is that you know, as much as it is like a little Souls-like, in between Souls-like hack and slash, you can really make that balance work and make it still look cool, like it is like a completely, you know, hack and slash type of thing. Now let's talk about combat variety. You have a lot to do within Stellar Blade from the get-go. You already have a good amount of combos. You know, your good mix between triangle and square and circle. You have your good mixes basically in between that, and that's what I love. And on top of that, you have so much to upgrade into, and by the time that you fully upgrade Eve, man, you will literally feel like a god. I promise you will literally feel like a god. And just the piece to resistance, the cherry on top of the cake, is the outfits. Man, this also just boosts on top of the music. Remember how I said music adds onto a good level of replayability in the game? The outfits do the same here. During, I don't know, you'll probably find yourself in a position where every mission, or halfway through a mission, or maybe a quarter way through the mission, you're gonna find yourself changing outfits, and that just adds a whole refreshing layer onto the game. You know, that you can change your outfits wherever that you want to. It's just so cool, man. You see, it's these things that make a 30-hour game worth playing for nearly after 135 hours in my case, or even beyond in your case. So gameplay wise, you are getting a lot of substance in here, and on top of that, it's the Nier Automata DLC, and on top of that, it's the Nikke DLC, bringing in more outfits and other features and a whole bunch of cool shit, man. Alright, now moving on to the last section of the video. I'm gonna try and keep this one as short as possible, because I know I spent a lot of time on the other two, but that's not to say anything about these ones if they're liking and anything, but just the visual spectacle of Stellar Blade. Now the areas look really cool. I'm gonna be very honest with you, they look very cool to interesting. You just want to explore pretty much everything. I think the story of Stellar Blade, although it may be, you know, remind you of something else, but the areas themselves are interesting in the sense that obviously you just want to explore whatever that happened to humanity. You will discover these little Kodak thingies, and things like, just people who basically died within the landscape and you want to discover more, people who were killed by something, people who had this happened to them, that happened to them, backstories of certain characters. And that's another thing that a lot of games don't nail much anymore. They don't really get you to explore the full depth of everything that the developers have basically built, because there's nothing interesting going on in the side stories. Stellarblade has created that interest, to go to all these different sites and just do your own exploration. I mean, even if it's not for a side character, you just want to check, like, or the remnants of the world after the Natiba and blah 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 blah, Andrew Ados, etc, all that, right? It just all looks, it all looks pretty good stuff. And I also appreciate the fact that Shift Up further encourages the exploration of all of these places by allowing Eve, when she's outside of combat, to have this like infinite boost basically. So she'll run for a bit and then she'll basically boost automatically. She'll enter like a sprint mode, and the sprint mode doesn't have stamina, unlike other games where if you sprint a lot in the game you run out of stamina. Now you gotta run slow, and then it's just like a very tedious thing that's just like, oh, I don't want to waste stamina now running across this whole place. Let me just come do what I do, play the game and get over and done with. Number 2, the enemy designs. The enemy designs are pretty cool, and I really respect the fact that there's a variety of them. As you go through the game, you'll discover a whole lot of new enemy varieties. Some of these enemies are pretty weak, some of them will whoop your ass. Do not underestimate them. Do not underestimate some of these enemies. They will kill you. They are really ultra aggressive. And the final, the priest to resistance, the gooning. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how many mods for this game have already been created? Do you know how many mods are going to be created? Do you know how many mods are going to be created in the further future? Bro, the game's not even out yet, and the demo already has so many gooning outfits, bro. There's even some stuff I'm even afraid to say on YouTube. Hey man, that stuff will get my channel deleted, bro. But they are just like mods that are crazy, bro. These people have been waiting underground for this game to come out just to pull a whole bunch of things. And the crazy thing is, Hyundai Kim supports it. He's like, nah, go ahead and make your mods. I want to see what you can do in competition with what we've created, man. Stellarblade is infinite content for the good and for the worst. I'll check in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's enjoy this game. Peace.